We are the real nesters, the real nesters, the real nesters, and we at it again. We are like Batman and Robin, the dynamic duo, battling the haters with laughs and grins. We are here to entertain you. Hope you're enjoying the channel, cause we like you. We are the real nesters, the real nesters, the real nesters, and we at it again.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am Crystal Real Nester. This is Empty Chair.
Yeah! This is the one and only most devastating warrior.
You guys know what day of the week this is. When y'all see us sitting here with this background, y'all know it's Married at First Sight.
That's right. And
review.
That's right. And we are getting to
down to the nitty.
Down to the wire. Down to the wire.
To the nitty gritty.
You always
I can say what I want to say.
No, you always say the wrong thing.
Anyway, we at season 13, episode 16.
Edit that out.
No.
Alright, you guys, this is season 13, episode 16.
I said that all you had to do is say the title.
Weighing the decision.
Weighing decision. So, ladies and gentlemen, this one is mainly about these guys talking to their friends and family members to weigh in on whether they're going to say yes or no. So, at the end of this, we probably should have watched our projections from the beginning. But I think our projections were pretty solid in the beginning, but they kind of changed halfway through.
All we got to do is go back through the playlist, and we're going to watch it, just like all the people that's watching us.
Yeah, because
plug.
I think from the beginning, I've been telling you guys, Zach and Michaela was a no-no. I did say that Mirla and Gil was a no-no. I told you guys that Ryan and Brett was a wild card.
Yep.
I didn't know which way they were going to go. We did. I said Bao and Johnny was a thumbs up.
Oh, yeah. You said they were solid.
And I think I said Rachel and Jose was a no. I'm almost sure of it. I said they was a no because I thought that Jose wasn't going to be attracted to Rachel at first.
So what do you say now? Rachel...
and Jose.
I say that's a no. Okay. Yeah, okay.
Well, I think they're going to say yes on decision day, but I don't think that by the reunion show, I think they'll be broken up.
I think it's going to be a no.
No, I think they're going to stay together. Rachel and Jose is going to be a yes. And go for next. Who's next?
Well, you know, Michaela and Zach. That's going to be a no.
They're being really weird.
That could be a no.
The only reason why is because they seem to me like they can't make up their minds. I mean, overall, I don't think they're gonna make it. But will they say yes on D-Day? It's shaky. They've been being really weird up and down.
Johnny and Bao?
No.
That's a no.
And
that's three.
I hate to say that out loud because I was still really rooting for them, but Johnny has showed us that he's confused.
Brett and Ryan are definitely no.
They're no. So the only one that looks like coming out is Miller. Well, actually, Rachel and Jose is going to say yes on D-Day.
They're just not going to last the long run.
Yes, and I think the same thing for Mirla and Gil, to be honest.
You don't think they're going to last the long haul? Because after a while, she going to get on his nerves? Unless she changes.
Yes.
She will have to change.
They are 50-50. Both of those couples are 50-50, and the reason why I say that is they're definitely a yes for D-Day, but as time starts to unfold, if Jose's attitude explodes on Rachel again, she's out.
But didn't we see a preview about somebody that already had got divorced? Or was that last year?
No, I think that was last year.
Last year, okay.
And with Mirla and Gil, if Gil really keeps trying to pressure Mirla not to shop, it's going to be at this point, ladies and gentlemen, they are popping in and out on each person individually, talking to their confidant is about, making a decision. So where we are now, we just ended with Johnny, and he was sitting there talking to two of his friends. Of course, he brought up, it seemed like he started off leaning towards no, basically. Yeah. And I love his friends. Now, don't get me wrong. I think anybody in this situation would find it a hard decision to make. But I love that his friends, they, you know, the one guy said, you know, he looks really distraught, which he do. He looks all messed up. But, you know, he didn't really get into the Sarah conversation, but he did bring up the conversation about Bao taking him to her childhood home. And that moment they had, you know, he felt like he needed to be there for her. And that is the moment that I guess some feelings started to stir up for him, where he felt like he needed to be there for her and take care of her and things like that. Yeah. Which is the first time I've ever heard him actually say that. You know, say anything super positive to that. You know, he was saying how he don't like who he is right now. He's changing, and they was pointing out to him that change is not necessarily bad. Like, you were a single person, now you're married, so, you know, change is supposed to happen.
Change it for the good.
Yeah, and they also pointed out to him, you know, he was telling them about some struggles they had in the beginning, and they also pointed out to him that, you know, you're rushing to make a decision at this moment where time probably could heal some of the stuff y'all been through. Mm-hmm. So you shouldn't just, you know, be so quick to, you know, to say no on D-Day.
That's why I was saying that I think they're going to say yes on decision day, but I don't know how it's going to go later on down the line.
Me personally, I always felt like they were going to say yes, but I feel like if they say yes on D-Day, I feel like they will make it. Because then there'll be no more cameras. Nobody can perform in front of. And so they'll get to settle into who each other is. And they're a big community. So their family, and you see what his friend said. Yeah. You see what her friend said. So let's jump right from that too. Let's jump from Johnny right to Bao. So Bao met with someone earlier, and I can't tell y'all who. I don't know if we missed the title, but it don't even look like her name. Yeah, and she was pretty down, you know, talking to whoever she was talking to. And basically, you know, she brought up that she felt betrayed by Johnny and him talking to Sarah. And Sarah was her friend of 20 years, by the way, who said all these negative things to her husband. Yeah. So, you know, she feels pretty bad. But at the same time, she did say for her, if Johnny shows up and say yes, she's a yes. Because then that means, you know, they're both all into it. Because her main thing is, when she signed up for this, she didn't plan to get no divorce. And she would work through whatever problems she had. Which is something that Pastor Cal pointed out about her from the beginning. So, what couple you want to jump on next?
Mirla.
So, we didn't see Gil yet. But we have seen Mirla with her friend. You guys, the lady, when she talked about your boy, you know, lights up like a Christmas tree. Because she loves how patient he is with her, and when he's, you know, correcting her or instructing her, he does it in a beautiful way. So, you know, when they have these conversations, the thing they want them to point out is a positive and a negative. So she thinks he's amazing. The negative for her is the finances, and not necessarily because he makes less money than her, but because he wants her to change her spending habits.
But she wants to maintain her lifestyle she had before marriage.
Right. And you can't be mad at her. Like, you know, when you're in love with somebody, true love will have you start to change certain things about yourself, the way you do things, the way you think. Yeah. So maybe they just need time. But, you know, for right now, I feel like she's definitely a yes. And she didn't really seem to have much complaints, even though they try to create.
It's a lot to do with editing too, cause
yes,
we can't. They want to make it the way you can't tell what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. It's
but a lot to do with editing. Me, I know Mirla and Gil is a yes. I don't see no reason why they would say no. Now after decision day, there's a possibility, because she even said already he already went to find them an apartment because his lease was coming up. And he already went and found the bougie apartment that she wanted to move into. They already said that. Yeah. Okay, so Jose talked to his friend. He's definitely on a yes. But, you know, of course they said, well, tell me something negative. So, of course, he brought up the whole...
going to the ex's house when he got locked out.
Now, he said he asked her where did she stay, and she said this. That's not true. and I said this, I think it was last episode or the episode before. Dr. Pepper, it was last episode. Dr. Pepper sat down with them, and she said, make sure y'all got all y'all secrets out.
Yeah.
So after Dr. Pepper left, they showed it later where she said, you know, I'm going to tell you this not to upset you, and I didn't want you to feel jealous or competitive or anything, because it's not like that.
Yeah.
But I do want to tell you this before D-Day so that we ain't holding secrets. And then that's when she told him that she spent the night with an ex. But he said overall he's still going to trust her until he see otherwise. So they still yes. And then to hop over to Rachel, she's talking to her friend. You know, her friend said, point out a negative. Her thing was that, you know, Jose had an explosive side during this situation. And
anger management problem.
Yeah, and she doesn't know if she's kind of, you know, like 75% sure she's going to see it again. And she just doesn't know what it looks like. Yeah. So she's a little on edge about that because you guys know coming into this, she's been in a not so good relationships previously.
Yeah.
So, you know, I can see that being a real concern. Then we did Michaela. So Michaela was talking to her sister to basically pick up off of last show. Her and Zach left with Dr. Pepper, and they ended up going out to eat.
Dr. Pepper.
And then he asked her to stay the night with him, and what she did. So she felt like it all went really well, but you guys, no disrespect to Michaela, her perception of what's really happening, we cannot, you know, take that as any kind of truth. Like, believing that they ate and she stayed the night, absolutely. Believing that it was like the best night ever, you know, because she's all in love with a guy that she just done spent 80% of the show fighting with. You know, and they've spent the least time together out of all the couples.
Yeah.
But anyway, she's of course leaning towards a yes on decision day. If they don't do yes on decision day, it's probably going to be because of Zach. Or he showed her some kind of side, because y'all know she's petty. So if he show her some sign that he might say no, she's going to say no just to beat him at the game. And the top of the show started actually with Ryan talking to his close friend. And basically he had to confess that in most of his relationships going wrong was his fault. And especially with Brett right now. And the guy basically was asking him, do he see it recovering? And he couldn't really answer that. So yeah, that's about the catch up of it. We'll be right back after these messages.
Yes, sir.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. And this show is rocking and rolling and rolling and rocking. So now, one last person that we had to get with was Brett. Brett talked to her sister about her and Brian. She's pretty disappointed and disgusted with him that, you know, he didn't try to fight for their relationship. And she also feels like, you know, he really showed himself the whole time. And she was like, you know, if he took a little bit more accountability, things could have worked out totally different. But needless to say, they are over. She said while she was gone, he came back and packed up all of his stuff. And then she was there packing up all her stuff. So they're definitely
it's already over for them, so we don't even have to put them. They're not even in the factor.
No,
they're already packed up and everything. So they definitely are over.
So then it hops over to Gil and Zach.
Gil and Zach?
Yeah.
Myrla and Gil?
No, Gil and Zach.
Which one are you going to talk about?
That's what I'm talking about.
I said, which one?
Just let me finish. So, Gil and Zach meet up and do their conversation. Well, you guys know that Gil doesn't have like a whole lot of friends and family. So, you know, that's probably, him and Zach seem to bond really well. Yeah. So they were talking about Zach and Michaela, which I'm surprised because Zach got two big brothers. So, but anyway, they was talking about Zach and Michaela, and basically Gil was asking about what happened the last incident at the couples retreat because he didn't know all the details. He kind of just caught the end of it. And, you know, he summarized it like this. the one deal breaker that Zach has is the one issue that Michaela has. So, and he's like, yeah, but Zach seemed pretty in a good space with it and very positive about it. Like, you know, maybe we could still work through it. Yeah. You know what I mean? He was saying after talking to Dr. Pepper, and he didn't seem, you know how you feel like the show put them up to saying that? It didn't seem like that to me. It seemed like that was really his clear mind talking at that moment. Yeah. Gil, on the other hand, he didn't say yay or nay to him, but his facial expression was like, run! But he didn't say that because he's positive and he's awesome. So Zach still thinks him and Michaela are going to work. Next, we hop on over to Jose and Rachel. They have a date, a lunch date. Yeah. And y'all know what came up.
Trips. International trips.
International trips. And the reason for Jose not wanting to go is because he wants to hold on to his money. Yeah. But the thing that is most interesting, which, you know, I noticed they have a psychologist, they have a sex therapist, and they have a pastor. They really need a financial advisor. I think will help these couples better also. Yeah. Because they need somebody to help them understand that, because remember, Mirla and Gil is also having the same conversation for a different reason. But if these people are able to live their life at this place when you're not there, when y'all come together, you should be able to balance each other out. You know what I mean?
Well, they should bring somebody in for financial, like on the fly.
Yeah.
Like, go have a sit down and meet with us. You can send them to somebody and then film.
Hey, Married at First Sight.
Extra footage.
Did y'all hear our suggestion? Yeah. Y'all need to hire a one-time or one counseling session financial advisor for your couples. Because at the end of the day, you're fighting over, you're making it bigger than what it needs to be. First of all, Jose got money coming out of his ears. We all know this. But secondly, if Rachel is able to take these trips by herself, even if y'all decide, you know what, she pays for herself and I pay for myself. Yeah. You know, we'll do this. Or maybe set a budget and say, hey, if we can save this amount of money by this time, we'll take the trip that you want to take. Yeah. Like, you find some kind of compromise. You don't argue about things that might not never happen. Who knows? You know, the show could go off and she could get pregnant and the trip ain't in the future for 5 to 10 more years. And y'all arguing over it now. This stupid. But anyway, so that was their big thing. They still discussing, you know, she wants to take these trips and he's absolutely no. Yeah. We could go locally.
Done deal.
So that was them, but I still think they're definitely saying yes.
Oh, they're trying to make it tricky for us.
Yeah.
They're trying to make it hard.
But it ain't going to work.
Yeah, they're trying to make it hard for us.
And lastly was Mirla and Gil, which I slightly brought up. They had their date and they went skating. They had lots of fun until they sat down to talk about finances. Now, Gil he's straddling the fence. He doesn't like that Mirla is negative Nancy or spoiled brat is his name for her.
All the time.
Well, he calls her princess, but he really thinks she's a brat. Yeah. And but the thing that I like, which I didn't think I was going to see happen, which is why I thought they weren't going to work out, is Mirla is taking in what he's saying, though. Yeah. Like, she's not like a lot of these other women who, last year, the women were a disaster. No disrespect to any of them, but, you know, the guy saying, hey, this bothers me, and they're like, and I still want to do blah, 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 blah. Yeah. They didn't hear him. But Mirla is taking in what Gil says, and she's not arguing that anything he's saying is wrong. Yeah. She's just saying, well, you know what? We could do this to work on my attitude. Cool. If you do this part will make me happy. Cool. And I understand we might not be on the same financial level, but this, you know, I'm not going down. Yeah. You're gonna have to come up. And she's not asking him to make more money. Yeah. She's just asking, in my opinion, him to change his mindset about what she's doing. So, you know, I really like that, but, you know, she's feeling some type of way because he keeps coming at her about it. Yeah. So, but overall, I do still think they're going to be a yes, and more yes. Because, see, y'all forget, a couple of episodes, they already sneak peek told us that those two already had looked for an apartment And that was going to be before decision day. Anyway, so the show is going well. We'll be back after these messages. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we coming down the home stretch.
Yeah, we're talking Spanish up in here. Hopefully,
yeah.
Come on, está usted.
Okay, so let's start with the group meeting. They all met together for the last time as married people before decision day.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it was very interesting. Y'all know how it is. They probe them to ask certain questions to keep the conversation going. One thing is very clear. That group all likes each other. Because in past seasons, you've seen where certain people didn't really get along with each other. So it was kind of like, eh. But they all truly support each other and probably will all remain friends even when this is over.
Yeah.
So that's beautiful. And for the most part, to be honest, I don't think anybody really was a jackhole on this.
No.
Ryan was the closest one to not like be very easygoing, but he was good with the guys. He just didn't do Brett right.
But compared to Chris and Paige, anybody's good.
Yeah, they
can't. I don't think you can get no worse than Chris and Paige.
No, but they all were pretty. No, remember the guy who I can't think of his name. The one who left his the nurse. Yes, you did. He was the one who left the nurse and went back home while she was visiting her family during COVID. I can't think of his name. And he was getting fresh with the lady during the bachelor party.
Yeah. I
can't remember his name, but he was the worst one last year. Anyway, so they all, this the last time they all meeting together. So they started off the conversation by asking why would somebody say no. They took turns going around the room. And Brett's thing was, you know, if you got mutual respect, you're attracted to each other, then she doesn't see why they should say no. If those things wasn't there, then say no. And she, of course, she looked over at Ryan.
Yeah.
And he followed up by saying, you know, I followed my heart through this whole thing, blah, 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 blah. So, you guys, they're definitely, absolutely, no. Johnny said he will say yes if there was anything to say yes for. Him and Bao kept giving each other the eye across the room. And not the stink eye as usual. So, I'm thinking they're going to say yes. And my vote is, if they do say yes, they're good. Hubby thinks that they might say yes on decision day, but no afterwards. So, that's what we opposite.
But if it's the cameras that's making Johnny nervous, then he good to go.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
If it's the cameras,
that's what we think the issue is.
I think without the cameras, he gonna be good.
Well, actually, as we get into this, he actually says, well, before we go to that, so Johnny said he'll say yes if there's a reason. Bao says she would like to hear yes, and if it's a no later, then that's cool. But she, you know, basically she want to work on it past D-Day. Then she actually, I guess, was defending Michaela. So she asked Zach, because you guys, if you've been following this, Zach thing to Michaela is he wants to say no on decision day, but continue to see if their relationship could work. Yeah. Because in his mind, it's the pressure of being married that is causing both of them the issues that they're having in their relationship.
Yeah.
So Bao said, you know, why say no if you are still going to take the time to try to see if the relationship could work? So for her, she said by him saying no, she feels the rejection and it would just be over. So Michaela chimes in and she agrees with Bao that was, you know, really her issue, but also in visiting his family and her family and friends' opinion, that she kind of would just have to go along with how he wanted to do things for things to work itself out. You know, Bao was just kind of real clear, like if Johnny said no, then it would be nothing else for them to talk about.
Yeah.
In order for them to work, he would need to say yes. They all talked about how awesome each other is as a friendship. And then Gil, y'all know they always use him to land the power question. So Gil thing was, what did everybody go around the room and say one thing that they learned about themselves throughout this process?
Yeah.
Brett said she learned, that she could actually keep an open mind because that's something she struggled with before. Rachel said that for her, having a big blow-up argument like her and Jose did meant the relationship was over. So she learned that she could stay in a relationship past that. Bao said she realized that she could execute patience because in previous relationships, she wouldn't have stayed around for what went on between her and Johnny. Johnny said he realized, and let's clap it up, ladies and gentlemen, that he is an emotional wreck. Yay! He said, he
Finally admitted to it.
Yeah, he said overall, he thought he had it together. He was a patient, calm, cool guy. But he realizes, that he's an emotional wreck. And everybody chuckled, and supported him, saying, we all are to a degree.
Yeah.
Zach chimed in and co-signed with Johnny that he's an emotional wreck. He said he cried more on this show than he has in his whole 27 years of his lifetime. Gil said he wanted somebody he could be vulnerable with, and he learned that he can. He feel like he found his person he could be vulnerable with. So y'all know they keep hinting around. They're saying yes on D-Day. And then Johnny made a comment, in order for the relationship to work, you kind of got to expect to be hurt and just move forward. So, and that's kind of where they all ended off agreeing that was a good point. Then it popped over to Gil because he finally had his alone conversation with his mom.
In Spanish.
And you guys, we finally got the real truth why Gil has an issue with Marla spending, because they agreed that they want to have a traditional family unit where the guy pays all the bills.
She wants to keep her money.
No, she didn't say that. He didn't say that was her objective.
Yeah.
He's just saying from their discussion going into this, that's what she was looking for. And that's what he agrees on, that he's the man of the household, so he should be paying the bills. That's how both of them was raised, with their fathers taking care of the bills. But his issue is that the place that they're getting, he can pay all the bills, but he will have no money left.
Yeah.
And also, this is the conversation he's having with his mom. His other issue is she makes almost twice his salary.
Yeah.
So basically, if he spent all his money paying the bills and she took care of the accessories, he basically wouldn't have any money to live off of. He would be needing to go to her for money. So we found out that's what his issue is. It's not so much that she liked nice things.
Yeah.
It's the fact that he feels financially where he is, he can't provide them. So that's what his struggle is. And his mom was like, well, how's the communication? And he's like, it's good, it's smooth, it's not forced. Mom's like, okay. She's like, how's the respect? He's like, it's there. She's like, oh, wow, y'all can work through the other stuff. So basically, mom is telling him from what he's saying, they need to stay together. And which I agree, because, a lot of these people go into this saying, no, I'm not going to do this. But Mirla has already showed us, compared to the first show, the first 4 episodes,
Bro.
that she is willing to change because she's really feeling him. So I think he needs to stop trying to find a reason to break the pattern and just chill and see what happens after D-Day. Yes, you guys, I'm agreeing with Miller and Gil staying together. But anyway, I would say his favorite line, but I'm not going to say it. We'll be back after these messages. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are back for the finale of this season. Well, close to it. Anyway, we get ready to wrap this thing up. You guys, y'all know how they do us. They play us out all the way to the last minute. So, of course, y'all know we done skipped about 2 or 3 breaks so we can wrap this thing up for y'all. Bao and Johnny had a date. They both looked awesome. Johnny's super conflicted. Bao is definitely a yes. she's just, I guess, waiting him out to see if he's gonna say yes or no. So basically, he told her that his groomsmen encouraged him to say yes to see what would happen after D-Day.
Yeah.
Then he asked her what was her opinion about D-Day, and she basically said she could see herself eventually, you know, being happy with him. And she said, you know, basically they lost the past 15 years of getting to know each other. You know, that's one of her regrets.
Yeah.
They had night prepped, and those guys are still sleeping in separate bedrooms, you all. And I just feel like Johnny's just making himself crazy for no reason. I think if you have any sense that it can work out, you should say yes. And then after the cameras turn off, deal with whatever you got to deal with accordingly.
Yeah.
And they would be a great example, I think everybody would agree, of people who should say yes. Because Bao has exercised a lot of patience with Johnny. Johnny is the holdup. They did Mirla and Gil. Them talking about what D-Day looks like. You know, basically Mirla kind of said, you know, them spending the night apart, it was going to feel like emptiness. Then they flashed back to Gil. And I guess they asked him what did he think Mirla was doing, and he said she's not worried about decision day. She's picking out her outfit. And then they flashed over to her in her closet, picking out her outfit.
That's what she was doing.
They so mean. Brett and Ryan came back to apologize to Brett, and he said thank you for not hating me. And she's like, sure, anytime. She's so over him. She took her wine and went in her room as soon as he left.
Yeah.
Zach and Michaela, they didn't really do a last touch bases with them. But they were in separate areas. So they didn't, you know, they weren't staying together to spend the night apart. Rachel and Jose did their night prep and talked about staying apart. And you seen Rachel leaving. I think we seen Johnny leaving. Mirla left. So usually one person goes back to their house and the other person stays the night in the apartment that they have together.
Yeah.
So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we started the top of the show with, you know, our predictions of who's going to stay together and who's going to separate. I wouldn't want to be in any of their shoes. What about you?
It's tough. Yeah, because you don't know which way they're going to go.
Yeah.
And I know Johnny ain't going to get no sleep that night.
Yeah, he keeps saying that. He said, poor Johnny.
Yeah.
Johnny ain't going to get any sleep.
He'll get no sleep.
I think Johnny's making it harder on himself than need be, honestly. And, you know, the fact that Bao has supported him through his craziness deserves a yes. Because for her, it's like, I think she's looking at it like, let's turn the cameras off and see how we are together.
Yeah.
And you guys, even if you didn't watch this show all this season and you're watching this review, I think y'all should be present on D-Day. Because it's always interesting to see how the editing shows one thing and what actually happens. So they showed us a couple of little previews. It's kind of a little weird, so you don't know who's doing what. But I do know that there's going to be one surprise because Pastor Cal gave a bad reaction.
Yeah.
So, as always, we thank you so much for spending quality time with us. We enjoy doing these reviews for you guys. Actually, y'all know what we need y'all to do. It costs you nothing but some thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and share us out to your family and friends. And you know what? We'll see you next week.
Peace.